my name is Dr. Jenna Stiles-Lias, and I am the Director of Local Arts Agency, Community Engagement and Equity and Research, working with Americans for the Arts on this project.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel DeCruz. I am working with Race Forward on the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy.
And I'm April Harris, and I am the Policy and Programs Administrator working with Americans for the Arts.
And we're here to talk about the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy and give lots of information. So here we are. Rachel, take it away.
All right. So we are so excited about this initiative. This is our first year doing this project. It is a deep collaboration between Race Forward and Americans for the Arts. And it is going to be taking place September 27th through October 5th of 2024. So the kind of big picture goals for the Cultural Week of Action, we've got 3 of them. The first is to bridge local and national movements to use arts, culture, and creativity to advance racial equity and democracy. We know that this organizing work is already happening in communities across the country. And so for the Cultural Week of Action, one of our big kind of hopes is that we're able to bridge the work that's happening, right? And we're able to really tell, like I mentioned, one kind of comprehensive story about what this means for our country at this political moment. We want to reinforce the key role that the public sector and other important partners play in both kind of securing and advancing funding for arts and culture, and also ensuring that the principles that are inherent in what it means to have a multiracial democracy are present throughout our communities. And then we want to activate robust national narratives and local dialogues around issues that are at the heart of our country's future, right? We want to identify what are the themes that are happening across all of these different local communities. What are the ways in which people are kind of pushing back and fighting back to really demand the need for a just multiracial democracy, and to also, if we're being real, paint a vision for what does that look like in your communities, right? What does it mean to people across the country? How will we know when we've actually achieved it? So what is the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy? There are multiple different components that are a part of this initiative. And so, like I mentioned, the first week of action is going to take place this fall, September 27th through October 5th. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a week of action. So there will be events, activities, and engagements happening throughout the entirety of that week. There are going to be local sites that are hosting arts and culture events and activities that help advance racial equity and democracy. Race Forward and Americans for the Arts offered grant funding and support to 14 local projects across the country. They are an incredible spread of projects working on a range of different issues, focused on a range of different communities. And we're really excited about the innovative ways that people are thinking about leveraging arts and culture to support us building a more just future. So that's one component, is these kind of 14 projects that are taking place throughout the country. We are also hoping that other local communities join with us and participate in the Week of Action in whatever ways they're able to. And Jenna will talk through some of those as we get further along in today's video. And then we'll also be offering centralized tools, resources, and support for folks, which we'll talk through more as well. So that's one kind of component, is the different events and activities that are taking place during the Week of Action. Race Forward and Americans for the Arts are also going to be hosting a kickoff event on September 27th in St. Louis to really celebrate the Week of Action. We're going to amplify the work that's going to be unfolding across the country. We're going to have some deep and meaningful conversation about our current political moment. And we are going to feature the band Gangstagrass. So it's going to be a really fun party, a moment to kind of come together and celebrate, to get inspired, and to kind of fortify ourselves for the work that we know is ahead. We are also connecting with a range of national organizations across the country to support us on this effort. So we've got 12 national partners that are supporting the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy. They'll be helping to elevate and uplift this work as well as we move forward. And then we're going to be doing some ongoing documentation, elevation, and storytelling, both before and throughout the Week of Action, right? A big part of this initiative is ensuring that we are taking the events that are happening in all of these different places and we're knitting them together to really tell one comprehensive story about the ways that arts and culture can really fuel the movement for racial justice. And everyone throughout the Week of Action is going to be emphasizing and reinforcing some concrete ways that folks can take action in their local communities to be a part of this and to help build momentum and support for these for this important work. So I'm going to talk through a little bit the local supported projects that we are so excited and happy to partner with during this Week of Action. We, through a very robust review process, there were 375 organizations from across the country that submitted projects to receive funding for this initiative, which was so exciting and also so devastating for us that we only had the resources to be able to support 14 of them. So we fully funded 13 projects. One project we are funding at 75%. And 8 of them include multiple events throughout the Week of Action, right? So they'll do one kind of kickoff event, and then there will be multiple events taking place in multiple different ways for people to engage. There are 5 Government Alliance on Race and Equity members that have projects taking place in their geographic area. 3 of the projects selected include a local arts agency partner, and 2 of the projects include GARE members as partners in the actual project. So one of the things we were looking at as we were thinking about this initiative is how can we encourage and support and resource collaboration between local government, local arts agencies, and community groups to really ensure that we're bridging and building relationships across those 3 sets of folks. And of course, are always kind of grounded in community priorities and needs. And then we are also excited to share that one of the projects includes a Race Forward Fellow. This just gives you a sense of the geographic spread of the projects that are taking place throughout the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy. And we were, really trying hard as we looked through the applications, as we selected the final 14 to ensure that we had a good blend of the diversity that makes up this country, right? So wanting to have both smaller areas, rural areas represented, as well as larger cities and kind of metropolitan areas, wanting to make sure that we had a good blend of red and blue states participating. And also that we were, that the projects themselves are focused on and tailored to different communities of color. So I feel really happy with where we landed. I think we achieved that. You can see in the little chart below the kind of percentage breakdown of where the projects are taking place. And we were so thrilled and excited to be able to fund and support a project taking place up in Alaska as well. And I'll just name for the future, as you can see when you look at that map, there is a bit of a gap, right? And so we encourage people in future years from those states, get engaged, find ways to work and collaborate with us. We want to fund and support work that's happening in that area too.
So this is the whole exciting part, right? We just saw all of the partners who were funded from Americans for the Arts and Race Forward, but that does not mean that you can't be a part of it. Looking at y'all, we want you to join us. We want you to be a part of this movement in arts and culture and race and democracy across the country. So how do you do it? You got to put something on a website, right? We got to put you on a map so that when folks come to the website, they'll be able to see the broad scope of where we are partnering, but also get to have access to what you're doing. And then join. If you know one of those 14 different places, or if you've heard about some other people who are doing some things, join together, make it bigger, link arms together and build out a big splash for this kind of event. And then, of course, we're here to support efforts of trying to fund organizations. I'll talk to you more about how we're doing that, some of the tools that we're putting out, or I'm sorry, I won't talk about it. April will talk about it. Some of those tools that we're offering to sort of support your projects. But fund and supporting a local project in your area. If you're not a person who is trying to do a project but are interested in supporting this effort, come on out. Tell us who you are, so that we can have those kinds of supporters in the building, in the room, and in the space to support this amazing work that's happening across the country. And then, of course, you can always watch some videos that we have some tools and resources. We'll talk about all of that stuff later. But there's lots of things that we're offering.
There are different ways to connect, and there's different ways to show and highlight, the projects, and that's what we're going for. We're going for that community that is not only local but national as well.
And this isn't something you missed, Jenna, but just to reinforce this initiative, only, like, the idea behind it is the idea of collective action, right? So the more folks we can get engaged, the more folks we can have participating, the bigger the impact that we'll have, both locally, and also we'll be able to kind of bubble that up to have some national impact as well. And so, I mentioned earlier, we know this work is already happening across the country, that there's already folks organizing around these topics. We've seen super creative and exciting ways that people are leveraging arts and culture to move racial justice work, to move work towards a more inclusive democracy. And so what the Week of Action represents is really just an opportunity for us to help amplify and elevate that work, right? We're 2 nonprofits ourselves, so we unfortunately don't have unlimited funding to be able to fund all that work, but that doesn't mean that your projects aren't important. And we really want to help find ways that are non-financial to help support you, right? And so joining this initiative, adding your project to the map is just one way to kind of align with this broader collective national effort that will give us some momentum and power as we head into a really important election cycle.
I love that. See, that's why I always wanted to make space. I knew that there was some gems that they were holding on to that we really want to hear about. So there's other tools, right? There's a proclamation. We'll have that in the resource kit. So April will talk a little bit about that. You can join us as an organizing partner. Some of these big corporations, like I said, come on out, or maybe smaller philanthropists, come on out, join us, be in the mission, be a part of the supporting of this project. Identify some people in your network, whether it be GARE or local arts agencies. They know about some of this work. Find them, talk to them. We can help support that. That's how we know who you are, right? We work with local arts agencies. Race Forward works with GARE. We can find out more information to be able to better support you if you're reaching out to those partners that we can reach out and touch as well. And then, of course, how else can we amplify it? Through social media. So make sure that you're hashtagging all of the things, following all the accounts, and so that we can share. And then, of course, this is a 3-year effort, y'all. So year 1 is happening. Year 2 and 3, let's get it, right? Let's start thinking about how we do that work in the future. All right, what's next? Oh, here, we just talked about your organizing partners. Here are the organizing partners, and there's more to come, right? These are people that once you join the Cultural Week of Action, you have this network of organizations that also support this work, that are jazzed about hearing what's happening, that can go into spaces. When you go into spaces, and you can point to Policy Link, or you can point to National League of Cities and say, like, this organization supports work like this. So you should too, with your dollars and cents, right? Or your time, or however you would like them to support you, right? So we have that as an option, and they're fantastic partners, organizing partners. Jaimin Hansu Foundation, Equitable Cities, For Freedoms, GMF, Narrative Arts, Narrative Initiative, Democracy Innovation, with the National Civic League, National League of Cities, Othering and Belonging Institute, People's Action Institute, Policy Link, World City Cultural Forum. We have many, many partners that will support this work. All right, save the date. Here it is. Here's some save the dates. Tuesday, July 30th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have a webinar. And this was like all of the information, right? The webinar is all of the fun. This is where we actually are in real time connecting folks together. We're learning about how we do this work, like as a kinesthetic learner. We're going to get on board with some folks who are really doing the work already and talk about how they've gotten there, and then also hopefully build that community. Friday, September 27th, we are going to be in St. Louis partying, right? If you haven't bought your ticket, I think you should. But if you don't, if you can't make it, that's okay. We'll record it. You'll see it. But that's the
You
kickoff.
don't have to buy a ticket. It's all free.
What? Oh, it's free. Right. It's free. Buy your ticket like your plane ticket. Buy your transportation ticket to get here, because everything else is paid for. Anyways, September 27th, this is going to be the wildest part. September 27th through October 5th. Join us. Put your stuff on the website and get yourself in community. Bring some people with you. Show it on social media. We're so excited to have all of these events happening across the country. Questions?
And don't forget, it's hashtag CWA24. Hashtag CWA24.
She's done this before. That feels very good. Yes, April. Hashtag. You must say pound sign. I appreciate that, because that's the generation I am from as well. I appreciate that.
Right? Me too.
CWA raceforward.org, and get the latest updates at the culturalweekofaction.org. So when we go to this website, that's where a lot of this information is, and a lot of the tools and resources will be housed there as well. So I'll let April take it away. April's going to be giving, okay?
So when you get to the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy website, you scroll down to tools and videos. It's nice that it's all on one page. But what you do is you click on tools and resources, So when you go there, you will see that there are opportunities for you to use the toolkit. You can use organizing your own event and connect with some of the information there, but there's also some templates to support your events. So we have a sample call for artists. We have core talking points, press release template, and email outreach templates. So all of the information is there for you to be able to share out. So you don't have to do a lot on your own, but this is your marketing piece, right? This is what you take out to the other folks, because you want to share and talk about what you're doing. And the way you do that is through these things here. This is a toolkit that you can use. And Jenna's showing you that there's, when you open the tabs up, you will see exactly what we're talking about and what the things are you can take to use for, to customize the way you see fit. That's going to showcase what you're doing and how you're doing it. So the proclamation is going to be put on the website very soon. So look forward to it. But what it is really just to your city can have a proclamation that says the week of September 27th to October 5th, 2024 is proclaimed the Cultural Week of Action. And this template actually just allows you to plug in the information that folks would see. This gets your name out there, lets folks know what you're doing, and this is just a great way to, again, highlight and showcase your efforts that you've been involved in. We think that this is going to be your first step to reaching the rest of the world, right? We are, again, you're doing your project locally, but we're having a national appeal. So when you do this, send it out, make sure folks know, and hit hashtag CWA24 to let folks know exactly what you're doing. So what's the call? The call is hashtag CWA24, using one of these toolkits, templates, so you can say what's going on. So that's my spiel.
Love it. Well, that's that, y'all. Here we are. Look, we ready to see you. We're gonna see you on the 30th of July. Then we're gonna see you sometime in September 27th through October 5th, and then we're gonna see you all the time. We're just gonna see you, right? We're gonna see your work. We're gonna see you in the streets. We're gonna see you next year. We're gonna see you. Thank you for spending the time. I hope you watched this whole thing. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, I understand. There's lots of information to have, to use, to play around with, and we're just thrilled beyond the moon to be a part of your advocacy efforts and to support and amplify those efforts. Last words.
Hashtag CWA24. Don't forget, share it social media wise, because we would believe that the work you're doing is important, not only locally, but nationally. Hashtag CWA24.
I feel like if you don't remember that hashtag after this video, That's on you. Because April made sure that we're all going to remember that hashtag. But we're so excited and thrilled to be partnering with Americans for the Arts on this important initiative. We're thrilled about the local projects we're supporting. We're thrilled about all of you who we're talking to right now and who we hope will come join us throughout the week of action. It's going to be a powerful event, and we need this work now more than ever. Artists help us make meaning and make sense of the world, and we could use some of that right now. So looking forward to engaging and connecting with you all. Hit us up if you have any questions. We're here for you. We just want to be able to support and amplify.
All right now. Thanks. Have a great day. We can dance it out. Okay, dance.
Oops, I didn't realize
Excerpt from Langston Hughes' poem, Let America Be America Again.
Let America be America again.
Let it be the dream it used to be.
Let it be the pioneer on the plane.
Seeking a home where he himself is free.
America never was America to me.
So for me, I think it's really talking about the reality that we've never had a multiracial democracy in this country, despite what it says in our founding documents, despite the kind of founding ideals of this country. That has never been a reality for communities of color, for women, for LGBTQ folks. And so I love this poem from Langston Hughes because it reminds me that we need to continue dreaming and building until we get to an America that works for everybody.
And for me, it's about reminding us about how arts and culture intersect that race and democracy. That here was a poet who was a person of color living in a time that we still can look at today. It hasn't changed that much, which is unfortunate, but maybe fortunate in some ways that there has been changes. But we need to seek to do better.
I love this poem because it's hopeful, right? Like, let America be America again, if ever, right? And Langston Hughes, in that time in America where it was a renaissance of beautiful work that was happening, that was about making America more equitable, more just. The ideals of the founding fathers in real time was the goal. So I just really appreciate the level of hope that this poem represents.